Well, hello, my beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel if you're returning, and if you are new, welcome to you as well. This is a mega video filled with 21 Christmas DIY inspirations for you. So let's get crafting. The house, as you can see, I think this was like $3.99. So I'm just removing the price tag and removing the sawtooth hanger and that little wire that they used. I guess they used that to hang it on the wall. And this is glue and moss right here. I'm trying my best to scrape that off, but when it couldn't come off, I just pulled the bottom off, and I'll set that aside until I'm done. Now here I'm just sanding it down. I also cleaned it up before I did all of this, and I'll clean it down again. But I'm just sanding it down and just prepping the surface for painting. So now I'm taking some of that same chalk paint as well as some folk art candy apple, I believe that is. I'll do the roof in the red and the base of the house in the white. And I had to give that like 2 good coats. Make sure I got that blue paint out. If you are new to my channel or coming over from the playlist, welcome. I'm so happy you joined me today. Here on my channel, I do DIYs on a budget and thrift flips. If you love budget-friendly DIYs like these and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit that notification bell. Hit it again and select all so YouTube notifies you whenever I upload new videos. And I'm just carefully painting the roof. Now that was done and dried. I'm now measuring out the distance as to where I need to place my windows. Took the L ruler and I'm lightly placing lines down or markings to show me where I needed to draw the window. And then the same painter's tape that I had put down on the house, I'm just going to use that to frame out the window. So I'm just putting down 4 pieces, and then I'm going to put another little piece in the middle. And I did that for both windows. And for the door, I am also doing the same thing I did for the windows, just lightly framing out the area that I needed to put the door, and then just gently curving that to give me an arch. Now this is folk art licorice. I'm freehand painting in the windows. I also painted in the door. So let me take a moment to thank all of my subscribers for your support. Thank you guys so much. If you are new here, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate you joining my DIY Craftaholic family. And now that is dry, I'm just removing the tape. Here are my windows. Now for the top, initially I thought about putting a window there, just like you would have like an attic. I thought against that when I remembered that I had these little wreath forms. I also purchased this at a thrift store, not this one that I went to, not Goodwill. I had these in my stash last year, and I just kind of made it more compact so I could glue that at the top. Before I glued it on though, I remembered that I needed to seal the paint, so I'm just doing that now, going over everything. Now at this point, you can choose to put a wreath, you can choose to write on it, whatever you choose, if you happen to see something like this or want to remake something like this. Before I put on the wreath, however, I remembered that I needed to put on the base. I had cleaned it up off camera and painted it as well. So now that it's dry, I'm using wood glue and hot glue to just glue that on. And when the Mod Podge was dry on the surface, I glued on the wreath. Had these little foam berries glued on some on my wreath. And that completes the wreath. Also had these little Christmas trees in my stash. Got these from the Dollar Tree last year. And I glued on 2 of them right there to spruce this up a little bit. And that is done. Love it, love it, love it. Let me know what you think. The same thing, I'm cleaning this up and I'm removing those 3 clips. So I used my screwdriver and removed those, wiped it down, and used some spackle to fill those holes after I sanded it down with the sanding block. Let me pause here just a minute and tell my subscribers thank you so much, guys, for your support. Alright, so after I applied the spackle and that dried, I'm wiping it down again and using the screwdriver to just remove that sawtooth hanger at the back. And these are the paints I'll be using. So now that it's dried, the words "love it" that was still visible underneath the paint. I was still trying to figure out how I'm gonna get that out. Either I trace it over and bring it back to the surface. I didn't really want "love it" on there. That's not what I wanted for it. I did take some Waverly Antique Wax and a dry chippy brush and just distress that just a little bit to tone down the white. And I also went around the edge of the board just to make that pop a little. Now this is my napkin and I'll be decoupaging this little Christmas truck that says Merry Christmas on here. So I just took a paintbrush with some water and used the water technique to separate that. Now all that was not necessary because, as you can see, I changed my mind afterwards and started cutting around it. I still wanted that red border at the bottom. The napkin wasn't doing it for me, so I decided to paint it in. Use some of the same red paint I had used in the previous DIY. I wanted that green on the napkin there as a separating barrier between the red and the white. So I left that there. And here now I'm just using the Mod Podge to put that down. You guys know how I do napkin decoupaging. This is not new to you. But if this is your first time seeing this technique, what I'm doing, I'm applying some Mod Podge on the surface, spreading it until it became very tacky. Then I placed the napkin down, used my hand to smooth it out. And once I did that, I took a piece of parchment paper, placed it over it, and the mini heat press. What the heat does is reactivate the Mod Podge and seal it to the napkin. And then after that, you're going to take another coat of your Mod Podge and just apply that over the napkin surface and use your heat gun to dry it. Alright, so we are moving on to further embellishment. I thought about what word I wanted to put here. I didn't want welcome, I didn't want merry, so I thought of putting family there. Now I'm using some of these stickers from the Dollar Tree and I'm using the sticker part. You can also use the part that the sticker came off as a stencil. I don't usually throw those out. I leave them because they can be reused as stencil. Now when I placed the word down, I didn't like how the letters had those little edges, so I decided to cut them off. So I took them, placed them on the cutting board and removed those little pieces, and it looked a lot better to me in my eyes. Let me know what you think, whether I should have left them there or it looked better. The letters looks better without that little piece. In my eyes, it looks a lot better to me. And this is another way you can use these little letters as stencil. If you don't have a Cricut or if you don't have any form of stencil, plastic stencil or silk stencil, these little letters from the Dollar Tree comes very handy. Budget friendly is my thing. So if budget friendly ideas or craft is your thing, you're at the right place. I'm just rambling, guys, but anyway, you understand, you get the picture, right? You get the picture. Now for further embellishment and to cover up that love it word that was still visible under the paint, I decided to use a piece of this ribbon. I got this ribbon from BB Craft, and I just placed a piece of that at the top, glue down the ends at the back. And I had this piece of ribbon. I made a small bow, just sharpen up the edges of the ribbon a little bit and glue that on top of the burlap ribbon. Replace the hanger, the sawtooth hanger at the back. Just screw that back in, and this is done, my friends. Quick and easy. I got this sign from the thrift store, went to Florida and went to the Goodwill bin and found this, and I'll be using this one. So what I'm doing, I'm just taking off the tag from the back, not the tag, the hanger, and I just use the scraper tool to remove that piece at the front and scrape off the glitter, because this was a summer sign and it was glittering. I'm not sure if this came from the Dollar Tree or somewhere else, but I ain't worrying about that. This paper pack came from Walmart, and this is scrapbooking or cardstock paper. It's very thick and it's double-sided. I'll be using this one with the rose. So I took one sheet out and I'm just laying that down on top of the sign just to measure where I need to cut. Took my pencil, traced that out, and then cut it out. And then I'm just laying it down. You want to make sure that you're putting it down the direction that the pattern is going and lining that up with the hanger. So this is Mod Podge Multi. I've been using this quite a lot recently. And multi means all purpose or multi-purpose. It is all of Plaid's formula mixed into one. So I'm taking some of that with my Mod Podge brush and just spreading it on top of this surface, and put the paper down and just use the brayer to smooth that out. And I did that until I got to the end of this. And then to reheat the Mod Podge underneath, I took the parchment paper and the mini heat press and just reheated that. And then took the emery board and sanded off the excess. I love this cardstock. And here it is. Now to give me some contrast, I took this wooden heart that I got in a pack from Michael's, 12 in the pack, and it was $4.99, and I'm only using one here. Then I mixed some True Burgundy, Apple Barrel's True Burgundy and white paint to just tone down the burgundy a little bit so it blended in with the same shade on the rose on the paper. And to help me with the paint job, I placed it on this painting turntable. Lord, I love this so much. I got this from Plaid as well, and painted that with one good coat. And because I wanted it to be raised from the surface, I cut down a small craft sticks just to give me like 6 little pieces and glue them together, and then glue them at the back of the heart. And just lined it up in the center just to make sure I know where I wanted it. Now the heart was too flat in terms of the color, so I took some metallic gold and a small paintbrush and just went around the edge of the heart to distress it a little. and a finger sponge to just spread that. And now that is done, I thought that the same thing should be done to the board, so I did the same thing to the board. Now I painted that little rose, laser cut rose that I had in my stash with a mixture of 2 different color paints to give me that shade on the paper, but that wasn't working. I didn't like how it looked, so I'm just taking one of these rose stickers. I had this in my stash as well, also came from the Dollar Tree. Place that in the center, and now I'm going to Mod Podge all of it. And I did all of this before I actually glued it on the surface, because once it's glued down, you know, that's it. You can't lift that again because it's paper, and then if you try to lift it, you're gonna damage your paper. I didn't want to do all of that, so it's best to do everything off to the side before you actually commit to gluing. So after I did all of that and was sure where I wanted it, then I glued it down. It needed something else, not too much fussiness at the top, so I took this burlap bow that I had pre-made. I think I got these from Amazon last year. I just glued that down on the center right there and then replaced the hanger. But what I did, I took out the colored beads from the hanger. I just left it with the white and the little blue one there. And that's it for this one, guys. This one cost me under $5. The paper pad I had in my stash that has 50 sheets in there, double-sided. I only used one. I can't even think of what's the cost of that is. This sign I got from the Goodwill bin. What I purchased cost, the weight of what I got was $6, and I got about 7 pieces. And everything else I had in my stash. Let me know what you think about this one. I believe this one is my favorite. Podge paper DIY or paper decoupage DIY. These are the items I'll be using. This paper or paper pad, so this one is a little lighter. I chose these colors because it's neutral. They can be, you know, displayed right throughout the year, not necessarily just Christmas. So I placed it on top of the box just to give me the idea of where I need to cut, and just crease that with my finger, cut that out. And now I'm ready to apply my Mod Podge. I used Mod Podge. You can use school glue. I thought that since I'm using Mod Podge, I'll just continue using the Mod Podge, and it worked well anyway. If you are new to my channel or coming over from the playlist, welcome. I'm so happy you joined me today. Here on my channel, I do DIYs on a budget, dupe, look for less, and thrift flips. If you love budget-friendly DIYs like these and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit that notification bell. Hit it again and select all so YouTube notifies you whenever I upload new videos. Next, I took the parchment paper and the heat press again and just went over that to reheat the Mod Podge and to seal the paper on. And then I took the sanding block and sanded off the excess. And this is done. Now it's time to glue on my hearts. Now this is going to serve as the legs for this little box to stand on. So in order to give me an idea as to where I needed to glue this on, I just use a pencil and just lightly mark that. And because I want the wood to glue onto the wood, I just took out a piece of that paper underneath so that the wood can connect directly to wood. So I just use the X-Acto knife to just score the paper and just lift it off. Next, I placed the heart back onto the space that I had marked out with the pencil. Use some fix-it-all glue as well as some hot glue to glue those on. And after you glue one side on, you want to make sure that you are lining it up evenly before you glue the next side on, because you want to make sure that when it's standing, it's not rocky, it's standing. They were both glued on evenly. So if this playlist is new to you, what 5 under 5 is that we are each required to make 5 DIYs costing under $5, and that's to bring you budget-friendly inspiration, just to show you how you can also do the same. So after I glued on both pieces, now I took some Mod Podge and I am sealing the paint on the sides. At this point I wasn't sure what I was going to do, whether I was going to put anything here, but then I found these butterflies in my stash, and these came from the Dollar Tree, and they are 3D butterflies. So I took this one, separated the top from the bottom, and placed one on this side, and on the next side, this one did not have any feelers, if that's what it's called. So I glued that down, and then I took the black marker and drew in feelers. But then after I put them on there and looked at it, let me know if you think, guys, that these look okay here. I didn't think that they looked okay, so I removed them afterwards, and you will see that at the end. And here it is. You will see more of this in the final reveal. Napkin decoupage. These are the items I'll be using for this one. I got that house sign from the Dollar Tree. The napkin I already had in my stash, and I painted the border with folk art flat in jungle green, and the inside with apple barrel white. And here I took my napkin, just folded that, placed that in the area, and then took the perforating tool to mark where I needed to cut that out. And here I am just going over with a little Mod Podge on the surface, spreading that very thin. Then I placed the napkin down, and if you noticed how the painting came out, it was very streaky. That's fine for me. That's how I wanted it to look anyway. I didn't want it to look too perfect. So I placed the napkin in there, used my finger to just smooth that out, added a little bit more Mod Podge, and then I just went over it with the heat gun and the heat press and parchment paper to reactivate the napkin, reactivate the Mod Podge, and to seal it. And this is what it looks like. So then next I went over it with a second coat of Mod Podge and the heat gun to dry that, to just seal everything. And to distress the border, I took the white paint pen. This came from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going along the edge of the border. And then to finish this, I took a bow made from black and white gingham ribbon and glued that in the center. This is already freestanding, so I didn't have to put anything at the back to let it stand. Napkin decoupage. These are the items I'll be using for this one. This canvas came from a pack that I purchased at Lidl's. If you have a Lidl's, sometimes they sell nice things like these there. It came in a set of 4 for $6.99, and here I'm using just one. I took some of the paint, diluted that a little bit, and a sponge brush, and I'm going over the surface of the canvas as well as the sides, because I want to get that same shade of blue that's on the napkin. So next I took my napkin, a small paintbrush with a little water, and I'm doing that water technique to separate the panel that I wanted. And this napkin has a little red barn that says Merry Christmas. I got this from my friend over at Craft Away with Me. I love it. So next I separated the ply from the napkin placed it down on the canvas just to see how I need to lay it down. Then I took the Mod Podge and the Mod Podge brush and spread the spread the Mod Podge thinly until it becomes tacky. And then I placed the napkin over that and just used my finger to smooth that out. And with Mod Podge still in the brush, I just went around the edges to lay them flat. And then took the heat gun and dried that. And then put the parchment paper over it and used the brayer to just smooth it along with the heat gun. Next, I went over the surface now just to apply the second coat of Mod Podge to seal the napkin in. To finish this up, the areas that were outside of the napkin, I added some Mod Podge to just seal that part as well. I thought it needed a little distressing or a little pop effect, so I took a distressing brush and some antique wax and just went around the edge of the frame and added a burlap bow to the top left corner. I added a piece of jute at the back for hanging, and this one is done. You will see more of this in the final review. This is fabric decoupage, and I'll be doing two mini rolling pins. I had these in my stash from Woodpecker's Craft. These cost like cents on Woodpecker's Craft website. I am an affiliate. My link is in the description box below. If you would love to grab some of these mini rolling pins, click that link and it will take you to their website. Now, I do get a small commission from the company, but at no extra cost to purchasers. So I painted both ends of each pins and left just that small section in the middle because that's where I'll be putting the fabric. So I took some of the Mod Podge and just went around in that middle section and then placed the fabric over that and wrapped it around until I met the other end and just cut off the excess. Used my finger to smooth down the end and then went over it again with the Mod Podge. And I used the Mod Podge to seal it and then use the heat gun to dry it. And after that was done, I did not like how the fabric ran straight into the white part. So I needed to separate that. So I took the red paint pen and just went right around, just creating a border between the fabric and the white. I had this ribbon from BB Craft. My link for BB Craft is also in my description box below. Made two small bows. I think the red kind of pulled that red on the fabric together and glued them on. And this is done, guys. I love using these little mini rolling pins. I haven't used them in a while, but then I started again. So my last few videos, I had rolling pins in there. But there it is. Dollar General finds. Oh, they are so cute. So I got this one over the summer, and I'm just going to remove the paper on here that says bless our home. So I spurted it with some water, put a napkin over that and set it aside to soak. Off camera, I took a spatula and removed the paper, and now I'm going to paint this 2 coats of white acrylic paint, and then I'm going to paint the lid with some gold metallic paint. I gave it 2 coats drying in between, but before I did that, I coated it with 1 coat of Mod Podge. If you are using a brush like I am, you want to be careful that you're not removing what you just put down. And this metal lid is held down with 2 small screws. You can remove it if you want to and work on it separately. I chose to keep it on this time. Next, I took this beautiful napkin that I got from my friend Mary from Craft Away with Me, and I'll be decoupaging that on here. So here I'm just ironing out the folds in the napkin. Isn't this beautiful? I love it. And you know the process of decoupaging already, so I won't bore you with all of that. And I'm outside at work doing the voiceover, so if you hear any background noise, that's work being done on the compound. I place the parchment paper over that and use a heat press to reactivate the Mod Podge and to seal it. I then took the emery board and filed off the excess. And now I'm ready to cut around the lid. So I used the X-Acto knife and just went right around that just to remove that excess napkin. And to seal the napkin, you always want to ensure that you apply a second coat of Mod Podge over that. And I'm going in one direction because I don't want to interfere with the integrity of the napkin. And I also applied some Mod Podge on the lid and then used a heat gun to dry that. Now this needed a little bit more jazzing up, so I took a piece of jute cord and went around where the napkin joined the lid. And this is just embellishment. This is not necessary. If you don't want to go any further, you can stop here. And now for further embellishment, this bunch of mistletoe came from Walmart. I've had this in my stash. I just cut off 3 small leaves and glued them at the top left corner. This little bow came from a Dollar General fall tag, so I glued that on top and added 2 little foam berries. And now I'm going to finish the back, so I traced that out on a piece of brown paper and glued that down. And this is done. Let me know what you think about this one. This is another Dollar General find. Purchased it at 50 cents. They actually had sale. So I'm taking my scraper tool and I'm heating that up because I'm going to be removing the letters. And this just helps to soften the glue that is underneath and makes it easier for you to lift it. Once I got that heated, I just forced the word off. In some case, you can save this. If you manage to get it off without breaking the letters, you can save it. After I got that off, I took the sanding blocks, sanded it down, making the surface quite smooth because I'm going to be repainting this. And then I took some folk art flat in coconut milk, painted that 2 coats, and now I'm going to stencil on this an ornament, and it says holiday wishes and mistletoe kisses. I'm taking paste. I got these paste from Amazon, and I'm using the green one to do the mistletoe leaves, being very careful not to get any of that in the areas that I don't want green. And then I took the red and I'm going to do the top half of the ornament, or the bottom half as well. And what I did not realize until I was done and doing the final reveal, that I did not stencil the top part of the ornament. So how is that gonna be hung, Christine? So now I'm done. I peeled that off and then I dried it a little bit. I forgot that I had that inside or that middle section to stencil, and I peeled it off. So I had to cover the areas that were already stenciled and then went back in with some black paint to do the middle section. And this is important. You have to make sure that you stencil all of the areas that you're stenciling before you actually peel off your stencil, because if you peel it off and you still have areas to be stenciled, then you're going to be in problems. All right, so now we're gonna flip this over, and here's a surprise for you guys.
Okay, for some expert analysis here, we're going to just cut something. There we go. Yeah, we did it. Okay, now we're going to trim the truck off here because, you know, we want to get the maximum miles per gallon while we paste it onto our, looks like the other side. All right, and then there we go, we did it. And now we're going to What we doing? Okay, we're gonna peel that, and we're gonna place that right there, right where the truck is at. And then we're gonna use some stuff to put it together. I think it's called Mod Podge. There we go. More on there, Dale. Yeah, that'll do it. All right, then we're gonna put it there. Yeah, right. Good. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Yeah. Okay, there we go. We got it right there. And the truck is ready. We're gonna put the truck right there. We're gonna paste the truck onto the board. We're gonna make that look nice and pretty. There you go. Ooh, yeah, there you go. Put some more Mod Podge. I guess we got enough Mod Podge with there. Okay, great. Wonderful. All right, here we got some paper here, and we're going to iron it like the ironing board. We'll make it stick to the board. There we go. Nice. It's going so fast. Anyway, we're putting some more Mod Podge on there. All right, for it to look like it's looking right now. Why has he got a Christmas tree in the back? Anyway, no, let's focus. Okay, so we're going to dry it so that it stays onto the board because we want it to be as professional as possible. There we go. Awesome. Okay, we're done. Okay, now we're going to distress the sides here with that pad right there, and make sure we get it nice and distressed looking because we wanted to make it look like it was used, even though it wasn't used. And flip it over and get the other side as well because we're diligent. Then we got some beads we just found, and we're going to put the bow on there and wrap the beads around. Very good, dear. Very good. I could have did it better myself. Wrap the beads around the object there. It looks like wrapping a scarf around the neck there. And then we're going to glue it to make sure that it stays there. And then, okay, now we are putting leaves on there. And we are gluing those as well on top of over the truck because the truck needs shelter. Anyway. All right, we're going over here to, what you doing, dear? What? Okay. I think those are berries there. I think that's a mistletoe. It's supposed to be a mistletoe. I think, and, well, that's all the time that I have because, I'm not getting paid for this, so I'm done. I'm out of here.
All right, so let's take back the steering wheel. So this is another Dollar General piece, and what I did, I just removed the tag from the back, and I'm using this sanding block to just sand off the graphic there. And these are the paints that I painted it with. I started out with that multi-surface and decided that no, I needed white, so I changed my mind. Now I actually had to mix the paint. Project at the end of this video is where I mix the paint. So here I'm using the black paste again and a different stencil. This one is a Chalkator stencil. I had purchased this from another crafter, and I'm stenciling on with the black. I washed the squeegee, and now I'm gonna do the inside or the middle section with the white. I bought these pastes from Amazon and I am not happy with them because they're very watery. So I had to do double work on the middle section, but here it is, joy to the world. So I'm just drying that with the heat gun, and now I'm going to do some distressing with some gold metallic paint. I thought that this needed a little pep, so I'm just using the dry chippy brush and just going across the surface of that. And now I took the gold marker and I'm doing some stitch lines right around the half a circle there. And this is embellishment, guys. If you want to stop at not doing this, then that's perfectly fine. And then I made a little finger bow, and I found some mistletoe leaves. I just cut off a few of those, and I'm gonna glue them right there using some fix-it-all glue, and then glue the bow on top of that. And that's gonna be it for this one, only costing 50 cents with embellishment. Why, this is a Michael's wood plank, and these postcards, I got these from Temu when I was ordering from Temu. And this is a mold from Amazon, and as well as some air dry clay. And I made these strips like months ago and had them sitting down there, so I decided to use them. So I just cut them in two, and here I'm just laying them out to see how best they can fit. And then I decided now to just glue those on with some fix-it-all glue as well as a little hot glue. So if you liked my husband's take on voiceover, let me know down in the comment section below. It was so funny just listening to him trying to give a tutorial on how to do a DIY project. But he insisted on doing something, so of course I gave him the opportunity to do so. But if you liked his take, let me know in the comment section down below, okay? And also whether or not you would like to hear more of his voiceovers. And once I had the pieces all glued on, this is what it looks like. And to cover up the spaces, I used some spackle, and I also applied some along the edge where the mold rested on top of the wood, just to close up those little areas. And here we are, all done. Next, I used some multi-surface paint in parchment to paint the trim. I'll talk a little bit more about this brush in the next DIY. I love these paint brushes. And once that dried, I measured my postcard in the space. I chose this one with the little girl and the Christmas gifts. She's so cute. And now I'm just trimming off the excess because it was a little too big for this space. So if you are new to my channel or coming over from the playlist, welcome. I'm so happy you joined me today. Here on my channel, I do DIYs on a budget. If you love budget-friendly DIYs like these and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit that notification bell. Hit it again and select all so YouTube notifies you whenever I upload new videos. So next I took the fix-it-all glue and I'm going to use that as my adhesive to glue the postcard in. So I'm just applying the fix-it-all glue. Place the postcard in the middle. What am I doing? Oh, so now I've applied my glue and then I'm doing something else. So I'm taking some Waverly Antique Wax and I decided to distress the trim just to bring back the definition on the design to make it pop. I don't know why I did not do this part before I put my glue down. Anyway, I got that done and here I'm now putting the postcard in the middle. And then I just use I think this is a piece of wood that you use for your transfer. I'm using that to help me. But you have to be careful because your wood would scratch up your postcard. Now I needed to cover the edges or the four corners of my frame. So I took some half beads, just place them on a piece of masking tape so they don't move around while I paint them. And I'm going over with some antique wax. And then after I did that, I took a baby wipe. No, I dried it first. I dried it first and then I take the baby wipe and just wipe off the excess or wipe back some of it because I didn't want it too loud. And now that's done, it's time to glue them in the corners. I use some hot glue to hold those in. And I looked at it and I'm like, okay, let's leave that for a little bit. So I have this picture, the back of a picture frame. I took that, you don't throw these things out, you save them. And that section that was showing white, I just went over that with the black paint pen. And then took some hot glue and glue that at the back so that my picture frame or my frame can now stand on its own. And there it is. I thought, oh yes, here it is. I knew I did something else to it. I had this little red bow, found it in my stash, and here I'm just gluing it at the corner. And I believe this is done. So if you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for hanging around. I really do appreciate your support. And to my returning subscribers, thank you guys so much. And if you are here for the first time, I would really appreciate if you would subscribe and join my family. Leave me a comment down below and let me know this is your first time. And thank you so much for coming. Now let's continue on to the rest of the video. So here I'm using another brush, just testing out this one on the aqua paint. And I love how the paint is going on the surface. I'm loving these brushes already. These paint brushes are really nice. I like them. There is a discount code in my description box below. You can check that out. If you are interested in getting yourself a set of these brushes, I will leave that discount code for you where you can check. I will also leave the Amazon link for you as well. And here I'm using another one, a smaller one. And I like the fact that I have different sizes. I can pick, choose, and decide on which one I would like to use for what project. And I use even a smaller brush now to go inside those small areas. And this is what it looks like. I love the color blend. And now I'm going to be adding some Mod Podge. So I took the fan brush. I have 2 in this set. And I'm going to use this one to apply some Mod Podge to the surface. Guys, I am still enjoying my fall and I can't believe I'm doing Christmas DIYs already. How about you? And of course, this little wooden piece that I purchased from Walmart. I believe I paid $1.58 for this. And when I was done Mod Podging and painting, I used the gold marker and just fill in those areas because I still thought that it looked a little too flat and needed something else. It still needed a little bit more definition. So I'm taking the black fine tip Sharpie and just going around the edge of the star. I didn't want to overdo it too much. So for this one, I'm not going to be doing a lot of tutorial. And this is just if you are doing your last minute decor and you say, oh, I need some more inspiration. If you're in the mood for some crafting, last minute decor, then you've come to the right place. So as you saw, I painted this star. And if you don't have a wooden star, of course, you can cut your star from cardboard, or you can use anything else that you have. Shop around your house, see what else you have that you can do your last minute decor crafting on or with. I had this graphic left off from my crafting over the months and I just decided to use this on here. As you saw, I cut it out and this is on the water slide decal. And I placed that on there. I'm just using a piece of paper towel to damp off the excess water. Using some Mod Podge to seal everything. Then flipped it over and add a piece of jute for hanging. So how is your Christmas going? Can you believe it? We are at the end of 2023. Almost, actually. Just 2 more days for Christmas. Are your gifts wrapped and under the tree? Are you looking forward to some exciting gifts this year? And there you have it, guys. This one is done. Let me know. This is a wooden hat. If you missed my winter DIY video, I will link that one at the top. You can check out how I used these wooden beanies. And I will also link another video at the end to show you how I used it as well. And here I'm just using this classic green from Folk Art I got from Plaid. I am a Plaid ambassador. My link is in my description box. If you are interested in getting anything from Plaid, you can use my link. Or if Amazon works better for you, I also link this in my Amazon storefront in my description box below. you can purchase it there as well. But I'm absolutely falling in love with this paint already. These are my colors. And then to jazz it up a little bit more, I used a piece of my Chanel yarn from Dollar Tree and some stars. Is this your first time to my channel? Oh, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you clicking on that video and stopping in to enjoy me crafting today. And that's it for this little beanie hat. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Let me know what you think about it. Reveal. For our final inspiration, this is a part of a two-piece tag that I got from Dollar Tree. I painted it with 2 coats of apple barrel acrylic white paint. And now I'm going to remove this little section with this little camper. And what I did, I took a dry chippy brush and I went around the border of the tag just to distress the edges just a little bit. I am going to apply the napkin to the tag, and if this is the first time you're seeing the napkin technique, what I'm doing, I'm just adding a little Mod Podge and spreading it very thin to the surface, and then I place the napkin over that, use my finger to smooth it out. You can also use a piece of parchment paper and some heat to reactivate that Mod Podge, but I'm only going to be using the heat gun. I didn't have my heat press plugged in, so the heat gun works just as fine. And then once you have secured that to the surface, you use a little bit more Mod Podge and just spread that on top of it to seal it. And that is the napkin decoupage technique. There are more napkin decoupage videos on my channel. You can check those out. But when I was done with that, I cut off 2 pieces of this boxwood pick, glued them down, and then this bow is another. I used one on the first DIY. This is the second. I just glue that on the top. I used a piece of baker's twine to make a loop for hanging. Then I took the black paint pen and wrote the word joy, and our little ornament is complete. Let me know what you think about this one, guys. This is 5-in-1, and I'm using some ornaments that I got from Temu. These are the paints that I will be using, but then I decided to stain them with some antique wax. I applied the antique wax, and then I'm just using a baby wipe to just wipe off the excess. After they were dried, I'm taking some washi tape and I'm just forming out my design on the ornaments. And I'm starting with the True Burgundy from Folk Art. With the elephant gray and the Tuscan teal. And you'll see in a little bit that I also did an extra one and I painted that white. So I applied 1 coat, dried it, and then I applied another and dried it, and then here is the white one, and I'm now removing the washi tape. These are Chalk Couture stencils. I've had these. Some I have used already, some I have not used, and I'm just placing them down to see how I want to use them. I'm starting with Waverly chalk paint in ivory. Now paste gives you better results with these silk stencils, but I didn't have any, so I'm just using what I have. So I'm fuzzing my stencil and I'm placing this down, and this says Noel, and I'm just using a little bit of the paint because I don't want it to bleed. So once I apply that, peel that off. It did bleed a little bit, but that's okay. And now I'm going in with the True Burgundy again, and the same process, just using a small amount with the squeegee and wiping off whatever excess is there, because less is more, if you know what I mean. And make sure that all the areas that are supposed to be covered are covered. Now that one is done. I'm now moving into this one, and I'm using this gingerbread man fuzzing as much as possible because this one is brand new. I've never used this one before. And then I centered it, placed it down, and here I go again with the ivory, and I just took a little bit out, wipe that down, and then use a smaller squeegee to spread that. Wipe off the excess, and this one is done. And I did that for all 5. Now I made some bows, 3 with buffalo gingham and 2 with a lace ribbon that I had. But before I glued those on, I took some Mod Podge on a makeup sponge, and I'm just applying that. And then once I Mod Podged all of them, dried it, I'm now going to take some greenery. And this is glitter fern from Dollar Tree. So I'm just cutting off little snippets because you don't want too much. And some snippets of berries. And now I'm gluing on the fern. And then gluing on the bow on top of that. And then gluing on the berries. And I'll do that for all 5. And now I am gluing on the lace ribbon. I love this lace so much. It just gives it a little bit of daintiness, chic, shabby chic if you want to call it. But I just love it. I'm now adding the twine for hanging. I snipped off the end, pull it under, and then just glued it down to keep it in place. And I'll go around and do the same thing for all 5. Yes, I did use a lighter and burn off the fuzzes. And these are done, guys. Oh, so cute. Let me know which one is your favorite. From the Dollar General last year, I selected this one, cut that out, and then traced it and cut it out on a piece of foam board. I then sanded it down with the sanding block and cut a piece of this Chanel yarn. I'm going to use that for the string to hang. I did not remove the backing from the cling. You can if you want to, but I kept mine on there. And then I'm taking the disappearing school glue and I'm applying some to the foam board, and I'm just gluing down the string and some to the backing of the window cling. You can use hot glue if you want to, but I thought that hot glue would have made this lumpy and I didn't want that. Just like that, easy peasy snowman queasy. These are the items that you're going to need. So I cut a piece of the burlap ribbon, a piece of the buffalo gingham ribbon, and I'm gluing the gingham ribbon on top of the burlap. This inspiration came from Amazon. And I'm using a piece of my two-tone jute cord, and that's going to be for the hanging. So I just cut a piece, glued that down, and of course I'm singeing the edges of the burlap because I don't want it to fray. If you are new to my channel or coming over from the playlist, welcome. I'm so happy you joined me today. Here on my channel, I do DIYs on a budget. If you love budget-friendly DIYs like these and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit that notification bell. Hit it again and select all so YouTube notifies you whenever I upload new videos. So here I'm just laying down the Scrabble tiles on top of the ribbon, spacing them out evenly, and then I'm going to glue them on. There we have it. And now I'm adding some greenery. This is mistletoe bush. Got this from Walmart. And then I just cut off 2 leaves and I'm gluing those at the top. Just changing my glue stick there. Picked off some of the berries as well and glued those on. So who is ready for Christmas? Guys, I am afraid to say that at the time of voicing this video, I have not started decorating. Shh, don't tell anyone. I had this little piece of gingham ribbon that was left, made a small bow, dovetailed the ends, took the little scrap, wrapped that around the middle to cover up the baker's twine. and then glue that on top, and added a star, and this is done, guys. Quick and easy. What you think, and if you're coming by for the first time, don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Now this is another easy one. I'm taking this wood slice. I believe I got this from Hobby Lobby 2 years ago, and this red truck ornament from the Dollar Tree, and I sanded down the wood slice, painted it with some acrylic white paint, and now I'm taking the scissors and just trimming down the Christmas tree because I wanted that to lay flat, and then I'm gluing that on with some hot glue, and then I flipped it around because of course can't waste the other side. So I took the gold marker from Dollar Tree and I'm just tracing out what is supposed to be the garland on the tree, and I also painted the ornaments red, and then I took a piece of jute cord, but I'm burning off the fuzzies, and I'm going to glue that at the top. Now you can use your drill to bore a hole in the wood slice. I chose not to do that at this time. I'm just gluing the jute on top of it. If you would like to connect with me on social media, you can scan that QR code, or you can check my description box for my Linktree address. And you see how I achieved that? No drill needed. Alright, so for the other side, I'm going to glue on the Christmas tree and call this one done. Guys, let me know what you think about this one. You will see more of these in the final reveal. Are just jazzing up Dollar Tree pieces. I'm going to paint it black and gold. Here it is all painted. I took a makeup sponge and some of the gold paint, and I'm just dabbing that on just so it looks like it's galvanized. Let's say that, galvanized. So once I was satisfied with what I needed, here I go again with some more of my glitter fern and a little piece of ribbon. I glue the fern on top of that to act as the base. This little bow I made from a piece of ribbon that I had. Glue that on top of the fern and then glue that on the sled, and that's it. Now it's time to pack it with some gifts. These little faux gifts are from Dollar Tree, of course, like I said, in my stash, and this little Christmas tree as well. So I place them in there and I'm just gluing them in place so they don't fall out. And here you have a sled full of gifts and Christmas tree. Let me know what you think about this. And for our next inspiration, decor inspiration, I took 2 of these Dollar Tree reindeer. I scraped off the glitter. I didn't like that. What I did first, I Mod Podged it and then gave it a good coat of this black Waverly chalk paint in ink, and I painted the scarf red and let it dry properly, and here I'm just applying some Mod Podge. You will see more of my reindeers in the This one is also very easy. These are the items that I use. A bell that I had from last year, painted it and never used it. Some baker's twine, some greenery, and a piece of ribbon. So here I'm just attaching the baker's twine to the bell, and that's going to serve as a hanger. So I knotted at the top and then I just turned it around and glued it on the inside so the knot is not seen. Next I took the 2 pieces of greenery with the berries already there. I took these off from another decor piece and I just forced them into the opening of the bell. I'm going to glue them on afterwards. And now I'm taking a piece of the ribbon and making a small bow using the baker's twine to just connect the middle. And I'm going to glue that at the top. Not all the way at the top, just enough so you can see it when it's hanging. Hey guys, what other videos would you like to see before we hit Christmas? We have 2 weeks remaining. I do have a poll on my community tab. Head on over there and vote and let me know what other video you would like to see. And then I took my fine tip Sharpie and I wrote the word joy. You can write something on all the other sides, but I chose to just leave it with this one. And this is done, guys, like I said, quick and easy. Now here we are for our final reveal. So here we are at the final reveal. Thank you so much if you stuck around to the end for these 21 Christmas DIY inspiration. I hope you are inspired to get your crafts going for this season. But thank you so much for sticking around. If you found value in what you saw here today, please consider subscribing and be sure to turn on your notification bell so you won't miss an upload. And I hope you enjoy crafting these 21 Christmas inspiration, my friend. I really did appreciate making them. And this is a compilation of all the Christmas DIYs I did last year, at the beginning of last year, into Christmas in July this year. So leave me a comment down below and let me know which one of the DIYs you enjoyed today. And be sure to watch to the end so you don't miss any of the final reveal.